I'm 81 years old. I live alone now, and most mornings I wake up already tired, not in my body so much as in my remembering. There's a quiet in this house that doesn't lift, no matter how many times the kettle boils. Some silences aren't empty. They're full of things you didn't finish. 4 years ago, I died for 4 minutes. I didn't plan to tell anyone. I still don't know if I should. But time has a way of stripping your reasons down until only one remains: honesty. And I don't have much time left to decorate the truth. I'm not telling this to be believed. I'm telling it because it happened to me, and because carrying it alone has begun to weigh more than saying it out loud. Most days, I sit at the kitchen table and watch the same patch of sunlight move across the floor. It moves slower now. Or maybe I do. I think about how often I rushed past moments like this, convinced they were ordinary, convinced I could come back later and notice them properly then. Later is a strange word. When you're young, it feels solid, like a place you can always reach if you keep moving. At my age, later is thin. It doesn't hold much weight. Before my heart stopped, I thought I understood death. I had buried friends. I had stood beside my wife's hospital bed and felt her breathing change shape. I believed death was something you observed from the outside, something that arrived for other people first. I was wrong. The day it happened was ordinary. That's what still unsettles me. No warning, no sense of importance. I was putting on my shoes to go to the pharmacy. I bent down, felt dizzy, and thought I should sit for a moment. That was the last clear thought I had. What followed wasn't sleep. There was no opening of eyes, no body at first, just awareness. That's the closest word I have. Awareness without edges. I knew I existed. I knew I had existed before, but I wasn't inside myself anymore. People talk about bright lights. I didn't see one. What I noticed first was the absence of noise. Not silence exactly, more like nothing needing to announce itself. No ticking clock, no refrigerator hum, no breath in my chest. And then I realized, very calmly, that I wasn't breathing. That should have frightened me. It didn't. There was no panic, no relief. Just a deep neutrality, like standing in a room where nothing is being asked of you. Time didn't behave the way it does here. I can't tell you how long I was there because there didn't have minutes. But I know what 4 minutes felt like in that place. It felt like enough. What came wasn't a judgment. No replay of my life. No voice explaining what mattered. Instead, moments appeared the way memories sometimes do when you aren't trying to remember them. My daughter at 7, sitting on the stairs waiting for me to come home. I had promised I would be there before dinner. I wasn't. My wife at the kitchen sink, washing the same plate twice. I had told her I was too tired to talk that night. A friend calling on a Sunday afternoon. I let it ring because I wanted to finish reading the paper. He died the following winter. There was no commentary, no accusation, no explanation. The moments were simply there, presented, complete. What struck me wasn't guilt. It was proportion. So much of my life had been arranged around things I could no longer recall clearly. Deadlines, titles, arguments whose beginnings I couldn't trace. And yet these small, quiet moments remained intact. Sharp, detailed, heavy. I understood then, without anyone telling me, that what endures is not what you build, but what you neglect. That realization didn't hurt. It settled. I also understood something harder to explain. I wasn't being judged. I was being returned, shown what had been mine to hold, and what I had set down, assuming it would wait. There was no voice telling me I had failed, just a sense that this was the shape of my life, and that the shape would not change now. Then sensation came back. Weight, pressure, pain in my chest. Sound rushed in all at once, harsh and crowded. Someone was shouting my name. Someone else was counting. Later they told me a neighbor heard me fall, that an ambulance arrived quickly, that my heart stopped and started again under a stranger's hands. 4 minutes, they said. I nodded as if that number meant something to me. Recovery took longer than I expected, not the physical part. That healed well enough. It was everything else that lagged behind. I returned to my routines, but they didn't fit anymore. Television felt loud. Conversations felt rushed. People spoke about plans years away, and I found myself unable to follow them there. I didn't tell anyone what I saw. When my daughter asked how it felt to die, I said I didn't remember. That wasn't entirely true. It was just the only answer that wouldn't ask her to carry something I wasn't sure she should. It took months to understand why those 4 minutes stayed with me. It wasn't about death. It was about how I had lived. In my 20s, I believed responsibility was love. If I worked hard, stayed steady, didn't complain, that would be enough. In my 30s and 40s, I was busy. Busy is a word people admire. It's also a very good hiding place. I missed school plays because meetings ran late. I postponed conversations because there was always a better time to be less tired. I didn't think I was choosing work over my family. I thought I was choosing the future. That's the mistake. Believing the future is a place you arrive whole. The cost didn't come all at once. It never does. It arrived quietly. A relationship becoming polite. A habit of not calling back. The belief that being needed was the same as being known. By the time I noticed the distance, it felt permanent. So I adapted. Told myself this was adulthood. That closeness was something you outgrew. I was wrong. The truth came earlier than my heart stopping. It came during my wife's illness. Sitting in a hospital room with nothing left to postpone. No emails. No errands that mattered. One night she looked at me and said very softly, "We've been careful with the wrong things." I didn't understand then. I do now. After she died, the house grew quiet in a different way. Not empty, just paused. Friends checked in at first, then less often. Everyone has their own momentum. Loneliness doesn't announce itself. It settles in beside you. It waits while you eat. It listens while you sleep. By the time my heart failed, much of what I saw in those 4 minutes was already gone. That's what made it bearable. There were no surprises left. What can't be fixed isn't the past. It's the assumptions you lived inside. The belief that awareness could be delayed without consequence. That presence could be scheduled. You can't go back and notice something properly for the first time. You either did, or you didn't. I don't say that with bitterness, just clarity. Now, when I speak with my daughter, I listen more than I talk. Not to repair anything, just because listening feels like the right shape for the time we have. I don't offer advice unless she asks. I know how it sounds from someone who can no longer use it fully. If you're younger and listening to this, I don't want you to change your life because of me. I don't want to be a lesson. I just want to be honest. Most of life is lived without realizing it's happening. You understand it later, when the motion slows enough for you to see the pattern it made. When I died, I didn't see heaven or hell. I saw my life without its explanations, and what remained were the moments where I was there, and the ones where I wasn't. That knowledge didn't save me. It didn't fix anything, but it did quiet something inside me. I'm not afraid of dying now. I'm more aware of living. The time I have left is smaller, but it's clearer. I notice things. Afternoon light. The sound of my own breathing when I sit still long enough to hear it. These moments won't add up to a different life, but they are mine. If this meant something to you, you don't need to act on it. Just hold it for a moment. That's enough. I'll be here a while longer, I think. Sitting at this table, watching the light move, letting time be what it is, rather than what I once assumed it would become.